It is 8 p.m. and here are our top stories. A scam targeting Colorado teens, and by the time they know what's happening, it's too late.
I was just like barraged with screen grabs and the pictures that I wouldn't really want people to see.
One victim speaking out to Denver 7 after losing hundreds of dollars in a sextortion scheme.
These guys definitely do everything they can to make you panic.
A carjacking nearly claims the life of an Aurora father.
The guy makes full eye contact with him and just runs him down.
The victim's son speaking out as police search for the hit-and-run suspect.
He's going to do it again, and it could be your neighbor, it could be your dad, it could be someone that you know.
And Colorado's unhoused population continues to grow.
What is, I think, alarming is the increase in unsheltered homelessness.
Now the state is spending big money to fund solutions and break the cycle of homelessness.
And one of the largest investments the state of Colorado has ever made in homelessness resolution.
And good evening, and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Danny New. Homeland Security tells Denver 7 there's been a sharp increase in online schemes targeting minors.
It's called sextortion, and it happens when a scammer convinces someone to send compromising photos and then blackmailing them. Denver 7 CB Cotton is joining us from the newsroom with more on this alarming uptick. CB?
And Danny, Homeland Security Investigations, also known as HSI, says they've seen more than a 700% increase in tips associated with sextortion cases. And these tips are coming from across the country. Here in Colorado specifically, there are agents trying to crack down on these scammers. The Colorado Cyber Guardian Task Force is made up of a variety of agencies to include HSI Denver and Aurora Police. In the last 2 years, the task force has had over 20 cases involving sextortion. Oftentimes, these cases involved teens, but really anybody can become a victim. It all starts when you meet someone online, the conversation escalates, and then explicit photos are shared. All of a sudden, the person you've been chatting with threatens to share the photos unless money is paid. Today, one man whose name and identity we've concealed said this happened to him just this past weekend.
Essentially, I met someone on a dating app. Talked a bit there, and then started texting, and they did a pretty good job of not exactly seeming like a robot or a scam, and there were definitely signs, but made a mistake or two, and then things kind of escalated.
That man, he's not a juvenile, but still you can imagine this was a very scary situation. He has filed a police report, but unfortunately, he did end up paying money to the scammer. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, we'll hear some ways to protect yourself, but it really all starts with being cautious about who you meet online. In the newsroom, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
All right, looking forward to that at 10. Thank you, CB. Authorities are at the scene of a deadly shooting near St. Francis Hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma tonight. They say multiple people were shot and 4 people are dead, and the suspected gunman is also dead. Police say they believe the unidentified shooter's wound was self-inflicted. A motive still is not known. And the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms is also on scene right now assisting with the investigation.
Homeland Security Investigations has announced 70 missing children have been located and recovered as part of a month-and-a-half-long investigation. Some of those children were found right here in Colorado. Operation Lost Souls ran from the end of April through mid-May. The missing children range in ages from 10 to 17, and many were reported as runaways. A majority were found in Texas and Mexico, and we're still waiting to hear how many children were located in our state.
Aurora police are asking for your help as they investigate a stolen truck and hit and run from Memorial Day. Take a look at this surveillance video. It shows the moments Monday morning when a man was hit by his own truck as the suspect steals it from an alley off Kingston Street and just drives off. Denver 7's Rob Harris spoke to the victim's son this morning, has the latest from Aurora police. And Rob, that thief was bold.
John Wanberg says thankfully his dad is going to be okay, but he'll be recovering for the next few months after being hit by his own truck on Memorial Day. Wanberg tells us his dad had pulled up to a gate in an alley off Kingston Street around 8 o'clock in the morning. He was dropping off trash in a nearby lot. The truck was left running as he opened the gate and unloaded the trash. Now at that point, surveillance video shows a man with a dog walk into the alley. And Aurora police say the man jumped into the truck and began to back out of the alley to drive away. That's when Wanberg's father noticed something was wrong and started to run after the truck.
My dad saw that the car was rolling and thought he'd forgotten to put it in gear. And so he comes running after it in order to try and stop it from rolling into traffic. And then it stops in the road. The guy makes full eye contact with him and just runs him down.
Aurora police say the truck is still missing and they have no suspects identified in the case. If you recognize the man in the video, or if you've seen this 1992 Toyota truck, you should contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. Wanberg says his dad's phone, wallet, and iPad were in the truck when it was stolen, and the phone was last pinged at the Walmart on Abilene near 225. That was Monday night around 5:30 p.m. For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
A Douglas County Sheriff's deputy has been arrested for trying to bring contraband into the Douglas County Detention Facility. 24-year-old Carly Jackson is now facing multiple charges, including bribery, attempt to influence a public servant, and first-degree official misconduct. Jackson has since been fired from the force.
As the conversation on fentanyl continues, state troopers held a press conference today to say that the fight against the opioid epidemic is far from over. This year, State Patrol has confiscated more than 200 pounds of illicit fentanyl that people were trying to smuggle into Colorado. And the State Health Department reported just under 1,200 opioid-related deaths across the state. 905 were fentanyl-related. Tomorrow, Denver's mayor and Colorado's attorney general will begin a two-day conference on fentanyl. The summit will have regional and statewide law enforcement discussing strategies to best fight the crisis.
Colorado's homeless crisis is only getting worse, and now the state is taking a major step to help solve it.
Yeah, so for perspective, let's take a look at the data. According to the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative's 2022 State of Homelessness report, more than 32,000 people accessed services related to homelessness between June of 2020 and June of 2021.
And the report also reveals the rising number of newly homeless people. In January of 2020, more than 1,200 people reported being newly homeless. And by February 2021, that number more than doubled to just over 2,500.
So what's clear is that services and shelters in the Denver metro are being used. And as Denver 7's Brian Wang explains, Colorado is about to spend nearly $100 million to add even more.
It's official. Congratulations.
On the final day of a busy legislative season, several bills addressing homelessness successfully crossed the finish line, including House Bill 1378.
This regional navigation campus can play a big role in getting people off the streets, helping them restore their dignity, get jobs, support themselves.
That regional navigation campus, helping to get those experiencing homelessness back on their feet, will be getting $50 million in federal relief money.
So this bill is an amazing opportunity for Colorado.
District 41 Representative Eman Judah is one of the sponsors of the bill. She says the campus will be a game changer in the state's effort to help our homeless populations.
Some of the things that we will be providing are mental health resources and job training.
Providing those services will require a lot of help. Judah says local governments and nonprofits will need to get involved.
We want to lean on their expertise to make sure we're doing it efficiently and correctly.
The location of that campus has not been decided yet, but choosing that spot could be the hardest part, as any location will be met with either a supportive community or a disgruntled one.
NIMBYism is a really big deal, and having that sense of not in my backyard is something that I think we all need to combat. Our unhoused neighbors and our homelessness issue is something that we are in fact all facing. And so again, being strategic about where we are actually placing this will be important to the success of the overall program.
It's a similar conversation 30 miles southeast of downtown.
Part of this package was Senate Bill 211.
That bill also got the governor's signature on Tuesday.
And that's to repurpose the Ridgeview campus into a recovery and residential site for people experiencing homelessness.
The Ridgeview campus served as a residential treatment facility for troubled teens before shutting down last year. Now the facility will serve as a place homeless individuals can receive help for addiction.
So that's going to be physical health care, behavioral health care, again, substance use treatment, and individuals will be able to work on a long-term housing plan as well as anything else that's going to help them.
Those who have been experiencing homelessness for the longest period are prioritized. Mental Health Colorado finds that part of the bill counterproductive. In a statement to Denver 7, the CEO of Mental Health Colorado said, "This didn't make sense to us, as in many cases it may make more sense to house someone who is more recently unhoused and more readily restorable. Even so, there are few who would disagree.
This is one of the largest investments the state of Colorado has ever made in homelessness resolution.
This session will have an impact on a population that could use the help. Bayan Wang, Denver 7.
Coming up, losing a loved one is hard enough, but waiting on paperwork is just salt in the wound.
They're telling me that it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for them to approve it.
Contact Denver 7 getting answers for one grieving woman left footing the bill for her brother's funeral.
I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else.
50s and 60s today, but 70s and 80s coming up as we head toward the weekend.
We're kicking off Pride Month in Colorado by visiting one tattoo shop, always making their community feel wanted and welcome.
As a wolf pack, when we all work together, we can do great things.